It is a seal. The truth arises, and it is on the increase, stronger and stronger. It is coming up. It arises, commencing from the rising of the sun. Like the sun, at first cold, it grows warmer and sends its rays. The angels are holding the four winds. It is God that restraineth the powers. The angels have not let go, for the saints are not all sealed. When Michael stands up, this trouble will be all over the earth. They, the winds of war, are just ready to blow. There is a check put on because of the saints not sealed. Yea, publish the things thou hast seen and heard, and the blessing of God will attend. Welcome to the Sabbath School for Sabbath November 17, 2012. This week we're studying the sealing angel, the sealing message. But what is the sealing message? In question 1 we can read it there in Revelation 7 verses 2 and 3. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. This is a very important message, and it is connected with what we've been studying for the last few weeks, especially. We've gone through the history of the first and the second angel's message. But what else do we know about the sealing angel? Which angel is it? If we turn to question 3, it talks about that in more detail. They cover the text there in Revelation 7 verse 2 again. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. It is an angel that's bearing this message. And then in Revelations 14 and verse 9, following the first and second angel's message, which we have just been studying, and there was a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, and it continues on, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the fornication of God, which is poured out without mixture to the cup of his indignation. This third angel's message is indeed the same message as the sealing angel. In the text there under question 3, it goes into more detail. Testimonies to the Church, Volume 5, it reads, The third angel is flying in the midst of heaven, heralding the commandments of God and the testimony of Jesus, represents our work. The message loses none of its force in the angel's onward flight, for John sees it increasing in strength and power until the whole earth is lightened with its glory. The course of God's commandment-keeping people is onward and ever onward. The message of truth that we bear must go to nations, tongues, and people. Soon it will go with a loud voice, and the earth will be lightened with its glory. Are we preparing for this great outpouring of the Spirit of God? Are we? But it's interesting that they cover there in the lesson that this message rises. And if we consider the text there again in Revelation 7 verses 2 and 3, and I saw another angel ascending from the east. What ascends from the east? It's the sun. And as we read there in the introduction, that was taken from the vision that was given to Sister White in 1848. She was given a vision of the sealing message in the meeting that she was taking part of with some of the brothers and sisters in Dorchester, Massachusetts. And this message, they had some questions about what the application of this word ascending means. And as we read there, it rises like the sun. At first cold, it grows warmer and sends its rays. This sealing message, although it was received with little light to begin with, it was to grow brighter and brighter unto that perfect day. So in the question 3 there again, in the quote from Selected Messages, Book 2, it says, The third angel is represented as flying in the midst of heaven, crying with a loud voice, Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. It shows you a people that have these aspects, these characteristics. And these people are none other than the 144,000, because Revelations 14 verse 9, which it's referring to, is talking specifically about the 144,000. But this seal, what is this seal? What do we know about it? And who are sealed? In question 4, it talks about those people again. I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Sinai, and with him 144,000, having the Father's name written on their foreheads. We know quite a bit about the Father's name so far. And Moses was, when Moses asked to see the Lord's glory, he said there back in Exodus, Lord, show me thy glory. And what did the Lord say? I will proclaim the name of the Lord. And when he proclaimed, what was his name synonymous with? Merciful, long-suffering, abundant in mercy and truth. This name that he is connected directly to his character. So this name that the 144,000 have in their foreheads has got to do with character as well. As we read at the end of the third angel's message there, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. They have this character of Christ. And what was shown in vision there, we read there under question 4 again. I turned and looked for the Advent people in the world, but could not find them. And when a voice said to me, look again and look a little higher. At this I raised my eyes, and I saw a straight and narrow path cast high up above the world. Soon we heard the voice of God like many waters, which gave us a day and the hour of Jesus' coming. The living saints, 144,000 in number, knew and understood the voice, while the wicked thought it was a thunder and an earthquake. The 144,000 were all sealed and perfectly united. On their foreheads was written God, New Jerusalem, and a glorious star containing Jesus' new name. So the characteristic they have is this character of Christ, the character of God. They have achieved to that measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ in their lives. But if we don't receive this message, this character in our lives, there'll be a bit of a problem. And we don't want to be caught up in those who fail to receive it. Under question 5, if we do fail to receive this sealing message, we will be part of the number that Christ addresses there in Matthew 7, verses 23. And he said, and then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. What is iniquity? Lawlessness. The fruits of the 144,000, those who bear the seal of the living God, is perfect obedience to the law of God. In the note there under question 5 again, it also reads, only those who receive the seal of the living God will have a passport through the gates of the holy city. So we need to have this seal in our lives, otherwise we'll be found wanting. But the devil is working very hard to draw us away and to keep us distracted, that we might not be sealed. And Christ warns us in Matthew 24 and verse 4 under question 6 that we have to watch in these last days. He says, and Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed lest no man deceive you. And I found it interesting in the text there also under question 6 in Isaiah, for the leaders of these people cause them to err, and that they that are led of them are destroyed. In the note there it reads also, the enemies of present truth have been trying to open the door into the holy place that Jesus has shut, and close the door into the most holy place which he has opened in 1844, where the ark containing the 2 tables of stone on which are written the 10 commandments by the finger of Jehovah. Hold on a second. Open a door and shut a door? What are we talking about here? This is not the sanctuary that Christ passed into the most holy place in 1844 on October 22. People want to go back to the outside, people want to go back to prior to that point where they didn't have the light of the truth of perfect obedience to God's law. Because when October 22, 1844 came around, Christ entered the most holy place, and there was a blessed light given to his people of this truth that was in there. And we were shown that the law of God contained on these 2 tables of stone is still binding upon every human. But Satan knew this, and he was at work in mighty power to keep the minds of as many people as he possibly could wavering and unsettled on the truth. And the inverse is also true, that in one manuscript's release, page 249, paragraph 2, Sister White writes there that this seal that we're to receive is not an outward mark or sign, but is a settling into the truth that we cannot be shaken. But what truth are we settling into? This seal is made manifest in perfect obedience to the law of God. We can only do this through the grace of Christ, when He writes upon our hearts His character and His law, that we might have obedience in our lives to those precepts that have been laid down from history. So when did the sealing work begin? If we read in Matthew 13:39, there's a text there that says, "The harvest is the end of the world, the angels are the reapers." And in Revelations 14 verse 9 under question 7 it says, "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand," and we know the rest of the message as well. So the third angel follows the first and second. So therefore, this sealing message must be received after 1844. Because as Jesus' ministration closed in the most holy place, he passed into the holiest and stood before the ark containing the law of God. He sent another mighty angel with a third message to the world. So this message must have been received after October 22, 1844. It cannot have been received before that time, because before that time, Christ was not ministering in the most holy place. In early writings on page 245 and pages 118, it reads there, "Then I saw the third angel, said my accompanying angel, Fearful is his work, awful is his mission. He is the angel that is to select the wheat from the tares and seal or bind the wheat for the heavenly garner. These things should engross the whole mind, the whole attention." So about the time of the reception of the sealing message, we're trying to get a bit of a picture. In question 8 there, in the quote from Revelation 7 verse 3, it says, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in the forehead." In early writings on page 38, it goes into a lot more detail for us as well as far as that experience. Sister White writes there, "I saw 4 angels who had a work to do on the earth, and they were on their way to accomplish it. And Jesus was clothed with priestly garments. He gazed in pity on the remnant, and then he raised his hands, and with a voice of deep pity cried, 'My blood, Father, my blood, my blood, my blood.' Then I saw an exceeding bright light come from God, who sat upon the great white throne, and it was shed all about Jesus. Then I saw an angel with a commission from Jesus flying swiftly to the 4 angels who had a work to do on the earth, and were wavering something up and down in his hand, and crying with a loud voice, 'Hold! Hold, 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 until the servants of our God are sealed in their foreheads.' I asked my accompanying angel the meaning of what I had heard, and what the 4 angels were about to do. He said that it was God that restrained the powers, and he gave his angels charge over the things of earth, that the 4 angels had power from God to hold the 4 winds, and that they were about to let them go. But while their hands were loosening, and the 4 winds were about to blow, the merciful eye of Jesus gazed on the remnant that were not sealed. He raised his hands to the Father and pleaded with him that he had spilled his blood for them. Then another angel was commissioned to fly swiftly to the 4 angels and bid them hold until the servants of our God were sealed in their foreheads." So there was a calamity that was about to befall the earth. And if we look into history, we can see that Europe was in great turmoil about 1848, and it looked like the whole world was about to fall into a world war with the political unrest that was taking place there. And France particularly is noted there as Louis Philippe had been ousted off his throne, and he escaped in exile from France when this event took place. And the same thing happened in many other places over Europe as well. But just as quickly as that happened, it all vanished away. These winds of strife were about to blow that we just read of, and the Lord mercifully held them back, that you and me might be sealed. The meditation for this week reads, Another angel ascended from the east and cried, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, until we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. This points out the work we now have to do, which is to cry to God for the angels to hold the four winds until missionaries can be sent to all parts of the world and shall have proclaimed the warning against disobeying the law of Jehovah. We have a work to do to proclaim this message that the law of Jehovah is still binding upon humans, and that through the grace of Christ and his work in our lives, the renewing of our hearts, that we can truly be obedient to that we might be found worthy in the day that he returns. I pray that this lesson has also been a blessing to you as it has to me. Amen.